Hello, friends. This is Yana the Heretic, doing another video from my car during my break, on the unpopular opinion becoming popular. So, I hope you guys can hear me okay. Honestly, this last transit totally, fucked me up emotionally, so let's get to it. Let's talk about it. That's why this shit's late. But starting February 7th, going until today, the 12th, we really had, let's see, this freaking transit. I don't want to be super negative about it, so I'm gonna try, but it is called the Gate of Rejection or Revolution, and this gate is a tribal gate in Kali, that is in the emotional center. So it depends on the wave, right? The wave of emotions. So the gate of rejection is all about who is in and into your principles, the things that you believe in. If you're not ultimately going to follow these people's principles, they are going to reject you. This is the type of intensity that is extremely truthful, which is actually refreshing, but it can be a struggle if somebody doesn't know they have a gate 49, or if their parents have a gate 49 and they're like, why are my parents always so controlling and dominating, and why does it feel like I have to obey them, or why do they always demand something of me that I do? So these are the types of things that we have been filtering, whether we have this definition or not. So, if you had something you were super pissed off about and it offends your principle and the way that you live and function, it's your moral code, and somebody was aloof and didn't really realize what they were doing, and you're like, yeah, this is a deal breaker. This is the type of situations that might have occurred within this transit. And, somebody has to do the dirty work, right? So Kali is the goddess that does so. She really fights ignorance. That's at the core of this value. It's fighting stupidity, ignorance, greed, misogyny, bigotry, all these things that, are unfair or unequal. All of these basic needs that all of us require to live equally. Obviously, they're not being met. So Kali will be the one that comes out of the liminal spaces. Through this portal, she comes and completely obliterates everything that you knew was possible. She will destroy the reality that you're living in and all of the evil in it. And it does look like torture. She drinks the blood of this beast in order for him not to clone himself. She takes it upon herself to absolutely, be this assassin of evil. So these people, Gate 49s, they are super deeply offended, super deeply ticked off by, you misunderstanding their nature, or if they are religious and you don't believe in God, if you offend, these types of people, you offend them deeply, not just their beliefs, but it's oh, well, I can't even look at you because you don't understand, and you will never understand, and your opinion is going to completely tear down my knowing and my self, the way that I posture myself, so I don't even want to look at you, get the fuck away. So that's the kind of energy we have been seeing, and obviously, like, we've got a bunch of other things going on in the world, like the Epstein files, and, we have fucking ICE, taking away our friends, our loved ones, but at the same time, like, the Americas have shifted to islands that are not even close to the Americas. So it's all just this shit that doesn't make sense. We're trying to make sense of it, and a lot of people are doing it from a perspective of, it's either black or fucking white, and that's the thing. This is the parent that, tells their kid, like, if you want to live under this roof, you can't do A, B, C, D, until you can live on your own. That's when you can do all this shit. So, this is heavily based off of how, the 49s feel, or how we felt this week. I definitely had some slip-ups that caused a lot of emotional upheaval for me. And I don't normally have this Gate 49, so, like, my brother, he's in his 20s finally, and he told me he was going to live with me for 2 years. And, I was super fucking excited because, like, life hasn't really helped me get to know my brother super well. Like, we're super close, but, I've been living in Seattle for the past 5 years, almost 6 years, and that was a great chunk of time of his teenagehood into his adulthood, so I missed a lot, and I just really greatly want to spend time with the people that I love, especially, like, having family come and visit me. That's, like, a huge deal, that's, like, what I live for, is having a great community. And then he decides, because he's frantic and 20 years old, that he's going to maybe enlist in the army just to save some dollars. And I was like, what the fuck? You're gonna go into the military during this Trump reign and all this other stuff, and it's like the vaccines, they're gonna pump you full of vaccines, blah blah blah. Like, whether, I'm not saying that my principles are necessarily correct, because I've never been in the military, so I don't know what it's like. I get a general idea from all the people that I know that have been in the military and how their lives have shaped after, all of this. But it still makes me nervous, and I still have my own principles, right, around it. That's like, well, you were inspired to just play guitar and be in a band, and now all of a sudden you're going off to the military. So I had quite a bit of emotions there, and I wasn't really nice about them, because I wasn't feeling, seen or heard, or... So that's one example. I mean, obviously, we have a very high, strong energy this past transit about, our moral code. And what's really meant to happen, and what softens the blow, is just having Gate 49, or Gate 19, the harmonic, come in, which is the gate of need approach, which we saw a couple weeks ago, where, the 49s are trying to, like, fulfill basic needs for others as well. And with Gate 19, they form the channel of synthesis, the design of sensitivity. So these people are sensitive for a really good reason, and that reason is to create the community that everyone's a part of. Like, whether or not we like the community that is being created and forged, like, it still gets people out of trouble, right? Like, a lot of these churches, or a lot of these, like, community groups get people busy and get people, like, fixing their town and helping others paint, or, like, these basic needs are food, shelter, water, rights are rights, so depending on what group that you apply to, it gives you a sense of purpose that you want to uphold. So the 49s are extremely great at upholding this and like being able to speak openly and be emotional about what other people really need. We need equality. We need everyone to have a home. We need to start talking about where to put people if there's overpopulation. How do we balance nature versus, the amount of human beings are now in this world? How do we eliminate starvation? How do we eliminate, poor conditions of living? So these are the things that the 49s are sensitive about. But the sensitivity can also be very single-minded, and they can be extremely selfish and, like I said, demanding about how much affection they're getting, how much attention they're getting, how much, how much their emotions matter versus anybody else's. And that can be extremely exhausting at the same time. So, benefits are resolving scarcity, illness, loneliness and loss, for, having your tribe support you and take care of you. And then, the intense rejection can also be super fucking ugly, where you can be burned at the stake for being a witch or whatever else that you have done. And it can be instant and swift, and the door's shut and you're out. So, I'm sure we've all been through that at some point in time in our, teenagehood, especially if you're a rebel. But yeah, these are rebels as well, rebels with a cause instead of without one. So, we're just trying to view the ways that we influence others here with our emotions and our sensitivities, and just taking a real fucking good look at the things that we absorb during this period of time. And is this absorption beneficial, for you and the way that you consider to have high principles? If we really etch our individual views into our personal virtue, we can inspire principles of accountability, fairness, beneficial discipline that keeps our community on track. We need people to balance the ugly of today. So there's the ugly that we see, and then there's other 49s fighting for the beneficial principles as well. I hope that you guys made it, I hope that you guys weren't too hard on yourselves. I know that I sometimes slip up and am late, and I'm like, holy shit, fucking 7 days have gone by, and, this all seems like, well, what's the point? You gave us this information late. But I think that it's really important to know what container we're in, because we got solar weather, we have a bunch of things going on in the universe, and it gives us this, like, calmness. It gives us more of a perspective. It broadens the picture that we put ourselves into. So, knowing that, we were filtering gate 49, you could be a little easier on the person that you got mad at. You could be, see this, like, issue that arose with somebody, and like see the bottom half of it that's underwater as well, instead of just being like, yeah, that person's a fucking idiot and I hate them, because that's not beneficial to anybody. You can always learn from communication. You can always learn how other people wish to live and what they carry with themselves that has meaning. And obviously not everybody has great a great background or a great, principle that they're upholding. But the more that we go through this experience and reason with what's, good and what needs to go away, and that's going to be the only way we get to the next step. Yeah. You will sit with heavier emotions potentially, and you probably have sat with heavier emotions, so you'll get a little bit of clarity of what may be going on, because I definitely felt it before, any of these issues arose in my week. It's like being a kid again, It's like experiencing emotions for the very first time and being like, ow, that fucking hurt, or, whoa, that person was mean to me and I'm gonna cry. Like, it's very sensitive. So, like I said, we are really looking at the broad spectrum and balancing our needs with everyone else's needs around us for the time being that we're in each other's auras. I hope that was extremely informative. I tackled this equation fucking in all spectrums. Here is the questions of the week. What principles do you uphold now from years of experiencing your life? What keeps you balanced internally? And how do you become harsh when you are emotional? What's the flavor of your harshness? Is it the same type of words that you like to call your partners when you're mad? Is it outbursts and hiding? What does it look like? Do your emotions scare you? What needs to happen for your anger to turn into expansion and determination? So we're just not necessarily like transcending emotions. I don't think that's very healthy to believe that you can transcend them. I think you just need to walk through them. You just need to be like ugly, to see how ugly you are, and then just be like, yeah, that was fucking ugly and I never want to do that again. So express yourself, tell people that you're fucking sorry, it's okay to say sorry. If you fucking offended somebody, it's gonna be fucking fine. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We also have the channel of community. We also have the channel of recognition and the channel of inspiration filtering throughout this transit. So it's not all bad. It's for our benefit that we got mad. And things will make more sense in this next transit. Thank you for watching. I'm Yana the Heretic, and I will see you guys very soon for the next gate. Thank you.